What's up YouTube, 426 Tractor Guy here. Today I'm going to show you how to do an oil change on an ATV. Mine is a Yamaha Raptor 250. The tools you will need are, for mine, are a 12mm socket with an extension for a 3/8 ratchet, number 5 Allen key for the oil filter. Of course, you'll need the oil that you're going to use. I'm using a Maxima Pro Plus 10W40. Paper towels for if you make any mess, and a funnel for filling the engine. You'll also need a drain pan. Any kind of pan will work. I'm just using this plastic one that's made for catching oil. Before you do the oil change, make sure you start your engine. Run it for about 10-15 minutes. Make sure it's nice and warm so that the oil will flow out more freely. Also, make sure your ATV is on level ground for best results. One of the first things you'll need to do is slide your pan underneath your ATV. And then you'll need to get your ratchet and find the drain bolt and loosen it up like this. And just loosen it up and drain all the oil out. I already drained the oil on this because I didn't want to film and drain the oil at the same time. I didn't want to get oil on my camera. And you let that drain out for like 5-10 minutes maybe, until almost all of it is out, or as much as you can get out. And then to do your oil filter, you will need to take your hex key or your Allen wrench, whatever you want to call it. Go to this side of the quad. Now, for this part, make sure you get your drain pan, put it underneath because it will spill a little bit of oil. And you will want to loosen these. Sometimes the quad, you will need an 8mm or 10mm socket for this. It's not always hex key. And you will just want to take all of these off. Careful with the muffler because it will be hot since you just let your quad run to warm up the oil. Now always make sure you remember the bolt pattern because you don't want to put them back in wrong, because then some just won't fit because some are longer than others. See, look, it drips a little. Like say one is longer than the other. You want to make sure you remember which one went where. Now try not to drop the cover because then you'll have to clean it off, and just an extra step. And also sometimes it might drop a gasket. You don't want to lose that. Make sure you remember that. On this, it goes to that little hole right there. This gasket goes right there. I'm going to put it by the rest of the stuff. And then you'll just want to take your oil filter out. Just inspect it. Look for any just dirt particles, metal particles. Make sure the engine's not damaged. You can sometimes tell by looking at the oil filter. You're going to want to just put that and let it drain. And make sure you wipe your hands, wipe off any oil that you got on yourself, and just wipe over here off. It's just nice, just clean it. Feel a little better about it. And any oil that dripped down here. If you have skid plates, wipe down there so that leaves don't get stuck on it. Then you want to take your new oil filter and make sure you remember how the old one was put in there, which direction it was in. And make sure you put your new one in the same direction. And then just take that gasket, put it back. Now just put the cover back on. Hold it there. Get your screws. Put them back in. I'm just going to hand tighten them for now. last one. Now there probably will be factory specs for tightening these. You don't really have to follow them, just tighten them, make them snug. Don't over tighten them because you want to be able to remove them again later for when you do the oil change on your quad again. Now that you've drained all the oil out of your quad and changed the oil filter, you'll want to make sure the drain bolt on the bottom's tightened. Everything for the oil filter is tightened. Take this pan out of here. Let it just sit to the side. Now, you will want to find out how much oil your quad needs. So to do that, you'll take your owner's manual, which you can keep it inside the quad. Sometimes people keep them outside the quad. And you will want to find the page where it says how much oil your quad needs. Now, for that, that's in the back here. Specifications. It should say how much it needs, which for mine, it needs 1.35 liters or 1.43 quarts, which you will want to measure that out because you do not want to put too much oil in your quad because that's really bad for it. Now, the way I've been measuring things all the time is just with an old oil container. There's a little thing on the side, I just fill it up, give it 1 quart. So let me go get a funnel for this. Let me clean out the funnel real quick. There's a little crud in it. Now I have a gallon container, which is why I need to measure it. So, let me open it up. Safety thing. This stupid safety thing off. And I'm gonna fill it. Now that I have that filled, that's 1 quart right there. I am going to pour it into the quad. Took a bit longer than I thought it would. Grab my funnel. Open this cap. Sometimes it'll be on a bit tight. You'll want to take a pair of pliers. Just help you loosen a little bit. Just put your dipstick where you can find it again. You don't want to lose that. Just pour your oil in. Don't want to go too fast because you can overflow the funnel. gonna let that get into the quad. Now, it was 1.43 quarts, 1.35 liters. I'm gonna have to put some more oil in now. You have to be careful this time, because this time you're measuring it. And you're trying to get it more exact. And that is perfect. I'm going to pour the rest of that into the quad. I'm going to let that drain out of the funnel. Then when that's done, just flip off the area a little bit. Now clean off your dipstick. Put it back in. And just take it back out and see how much oil there is. Which, I got it good. I put enough oil in. Now, it's alright to put a tiny bit too little in. You don't want to put like way too little, because then you could seize the engine. But you also don't want to put too much. That's also not good for the engine. And then when you're done, just clean up any mess you made, put all your tools away, and that is how you change the oil on an ATV. There's always going to be different variations. Some quads, like that have bigger engines, will take more oil than a little 250. Like if you were changing the oil on a Polaris Scrambler 850, that would use quite a bit more oil. And sometimes it has different size hardware, so you might need a 14 millimeter, let's just say, for the oil drain plug, or maybe even a 10. But that is how you do it. See you later for the next videos. Please subscribe, like the video, and comment.